Your wrists should be resting lightly on the edge. Second, bread. Never cut bread with your knife. Break a small piece off with your fingers. It sounds silly, but these details matter in high-level environments. Finally, who pays? The rule is simple. The person who issued the invitation pays the bill. Do not fight over the check. Graciously accept if you were invited. Now that you have survived the lunch, you need the right words to close the deal in the meeting room. Back in the meeting room, the atmosphere changes. It is less about building rapport and more about precision and efficiency. While your partners might speak English, sprinkling the right high-level French terms into the conversation shows incredible competence and respect. You don't need to be fluent, you just need to know the power words. First, let's master the structure of the meeting. The agenda is called l'ordre du jour. You always want to stick to it. If you want to speak, you take the floor, prendre la parole, and the most critical document after the meeting is the minutes, called le compte rendu. Knowing these three terms immediately frames you as a serious professional. The real test of etiquette is how you disagree. French business debate can be vigorous, but it is rarely personal. Never say a blunt non. It's too aggressive. Instead, use softer phrasing like je ne suis pas tout à fait d'accord. I do not entirely agree, or je vois les choses différemment. I see things differently. If you want to add something, ask politely, puis-je ajouter un point? May I add a point? Mastering these nuances is the difference between seeming rude and seeming assertive. We have covered the essential foundations today. The crucial difference between tu and vous, the unspoken rules of the business lunch, and the diplomatic language of the boardroom. By applying just these few rules, you already stand out from 90% of international competitors who arrive unprepared. You are showing respect, and in France, respect earns you business. But let's be honest, a 10-minute video is just the entry ticket. It is not enough to negotiate a €1 million contract, manage a French team, or handle a complex email crisis. To truly succeed, you need deeper knowledge, specific templates, and advanced strategies. But this is only the beginning. This was Lesson 1 of our exclusive 10-part masterclass series, the Master French Business Course. Over the next few weeks, we will dive deeper into negotiating contracts, writing professional emails, and even handling cross-cultural conflicts. I am giving you the complete roadmap to thrive in the French corporate world for free, right here on this channel. To make sure you don't miss Lesson 2, click the subscribe button and turn on the notification bell now. All future lessons will be delivered straight to your feed. And if you want to accelerate your progress, my book, All in One, is also available on Amazon for a deeper dive. Merci beaucoup. Subscribe now, and I'll see you in Lesson 2. Welcome back to the Master French Academy. In Lesson 1, we learned how to get your foot in the door with proper etiquette. Today, we are kicking the door open. We are talking about negotiation. Many international professionals make a critical mistake in France. They arrive with their big American smile, their Q3 projections, ready for a fast, enthusiastic, win-win deal in 48 hours. Stop right there. You are walking into a cultural trap. In France, a fast deal is a suspicious deal. If you present your offer and they immediately smile and nod, be worried. It means they are not interested or they don't respect you. Today, I am going to teach you how to love the conflict. Because in the French boardroom, debate is not an argument. It is a test of your intellectual credibility. To win a negotiation here, you must understand one name, René Descartes. I think, therefore I am. France is a Cartesian country. In business, this means we value structure, absolute logic, and mathematical proof above enthusiasm or emotional storytelling. Forget the hype. If your presentation is full of exciting adjectives but lacks a solid foundation, you will fail. Your proposal must be a fortress of logic. Here is what will happen. They will attack your fortress. They will question your data. They will look for the smallest flaw in your reasoning. This is good news. It means they are taking you seriously. They are testing the solidity of your product. The worst thing you can do is get emotional or take it personally. You must respond with cold, hard facts. In France, you don't seduce buyers with dreams. You convince them with irrefutable proofs. So, how do you handle this intellectual resistance without seeming aggressive? You need the specific vocabulary of French diplomacy, the polite disagreement. Never flatly say you are wrong. Instead, validate their point before dismantling it. Say, Je comprends votre position, cependant, regardons les chiffres. Situation 2. The tactical block. They ask for an impossible 30% discount. Don't panic. Use the French tactical block. Cela me semble compliqué en l'état. Situation 3. The step-by-step validation. Do not rush. Validate every step. Always ask, sommes-nous d'accord sur ce principe? Build agreement, brick by brick. The final elements of strategy are time and power. In many cultures, time is money. Pressure tactics work. In France, pressure tactics backfire instantly. If you push for a quick signature, they will assume you are hiding a flaw. French decisions are slow. It is often said in France that it is urgent to wait. Use silence. And finally, beware the hierarchy. Are you talking to the actual décideur? Very often, you are negotiating with someone who has no power to sign, only the power to say no. Their job is to filter you before presenting you to their N+1. Don't force a yes from someone who cannot give it. Identify the true structure of power. To summarize Lesson 2, in France, embrace the debate. Structure your arguments like a mathematical proof. Use diplomatic vocabulary to push back, and never, ever rush. Once you have secured the deal in principle, the real work begins: daily communication. In Lesson 3, we will cover how to write professional French emails that get respected. Negotiation is a minefield. Click the link in the description to get your copy on Amazon. Don't walk into that meeting room unprepared. Subscribe so you don't miss Lesson 3. Merci beaucoup. Welcome back to the Master French Academy. In Lesson 1, we learned how to get your foot in the door. In Lesson 2, we mastered the Cartesian debate. Today, we tackle the most dangerous tool in your office, the French email. In the US or the UK, an email is a tool for efficiency. It is fast, casual, and to the point. In France, an email is a legal document and a reflection of your social rank. If you write a French executive like you are slacking a buddy, you are not being efficient. You are being invisible. They will lose respect for your authority. The biggest mistake is the high first name trap. In the French corporate world, distance equals respect. Forget the hope you are having a great Monday fluff. French professionals value boundaries. To win their attention, you must use the formal shield. You do not ask. You permit yourself to contact them. Never start with salut or bonjour first name. Use monsieur or madame, followed by their title if they have one. The most powerful opening sentence is Je me permets de vous contacter au sujet de. It signals that you respect their time enough to ask for permission to occupy it. When you need something done, do not use the imperative. Do not say, send me the files. Use the collective nous or the conditional. Say, nous aurions besoin de ces éléments pour finaliser le dossier. In France, the project is a shared logic. You are serving the logic of the project. Finally, the closing. If you want to sound like a peer, use cordialement. If you want to show high-level respect to a superior, use this phrase. Je vous prie d'agréer, monsieur, l'expression de mes salutations distinguées. It is long and old-fashioned, but to a CEO, it says, I know the rules of the elite. Summary of Lesson 3. Distance is respect. Permission is power. And the formal closing is your signature of credibility. In Lesson 4, we will move from the screen to the stage, how to deliver a presentation that a Cartesian mind cannot reject. Now that your emails have opened the door, It is time to step into the room. Welcome to Lesson 4. We are talking about the French art of the presentation. In France, if you focus on wow, you look like a salesman. To win, your presentation must be a logical fortress. They are hunting for the one logical flaw. Never start with the result. Start with the problem. Always say, Voici le plan de ma présentation. If they do not see the map, they will not follow the journey. A French executive will interrupt you. It is a test. Stay calm. Use c'est un point pertinent. J'y viens dans un instant. This shows unshakable structure. And with logic. Instead of I hope we can work together, use au vu de ces éléments, la conclusion s'impose d'elle-même. You are stating a logical fact. Summary. You now have the keys to professional emails and high-stakes presentations. Next, we cover the French business lunch and managing conflicts. For the exact word-for-word scripts, grab your copy of Master French Business on Amazon. The link is in the description. Subscribe to Own the Room. Merci. Welcome back to the Master French Academy. Today, we are entering the most dangerous and most rewarding territory in French business, the lunch. In the United States or the United Kingdom, a business lunch is a transaction. It is about efficiency. You eat a quick salad, you talk about the numbers. In France, if you try to do that, you have already lost. In the French corporate elite, a lunch is not about food. It is a psychological test. It is a 2-hour observation of your character, your culture, and your social rank. Your partner is not asking themselves if your product is good. They are asking themselves, is this person sophisticated enough to be my partner? In the next 10 minutes, I am going to give you the exact roadmap to turn a simple meal into a signed contract. We will cover the seating, the conversation, the wine trap, and the ultimate power move for the bill. Let's start with the arrival. Punctuality in France is a nuance. For a social dinner, you arrive 15 minutes late. For a business lunch, you arrive exactly on time. Being late shows a lack of structure. Now, look at the table. Do not touch your napkin until your host has touched theirs. Do not put your phone on the table. In the French boardroom, the phone is a tool. At the table, it is an insult. This is where most international professionals fail. They start talking about business immediately. In France, there is a sacred rule: no business talk before the main course. The first hour is dedicated to the savoir-vivre. Now, let's talk about the wine. This is a major strategic point. In high-level French business, wine is common, but drunkenness is a death sentence for your credibility. The transition to business happens at the espresso. When the coffee arrives, the atmosphere changes. The savoir-vivre is over. The savoir-faire begins. This is your moment. Use a clean transition phrase. Puisque nous sommes ici, j'aimerais avoir votre avis sur la structure du projet. The espresso is the signal that the diplomatic part is done and the Cartesian logic can begin. If the conversation goes well, do not rush to sign a paper at the table. A lunch is for agreement in principle. The contract follows by email, as we saw in Lesson 3. The end of the lunch is where you cement your authority. In France, the person who invites pays. There is no splitting the bill. 10 minutes before the end, excuse yourself to go to the restroom. Find the waiter, give your credit card, and settle everything privately. When you return to the table and your guest sees no bill, simply say, C'est déjà réglé. This is the ultimate power move. To summarize Lesson 5, respect the ritual, master the conversation, and use the coffee for the closing. You are not just buying a meal, you are buying trust. Today, we are going to master the most difficult, the most misunderstood, and yet the most powerful word in the French business vocabulary. We are talking about the word no. In many international business cultures, especially in the United States or Northern Europe, a no is a wall. It is the end of a conversation. But in France, a no is not an end. It is a beginning. It is an invitation to a deeper, more logical debate. If you don't understand the psychology of the French no, you will spend your career feeling rejected. Let's start with the psychology. Why do the French say no so often? You must understand that in a Cartesian country, intellectual protection is a form of status. If a French executive says yes too easily, they feel they haven't tested your logic enough. By saying no, they are testing your solidity. They want to see if you have the cran, the guts. Now let's look at how you should say no. Instead of a flat non, use the tactical block. The most powerful phrase is "Cela me semble compliqué en l'état." You aren't being difficult, you are being demanding. But what happens when the no comes from your boss? You cannot tell your N+1 they are wrong in front of the team. Use the private doubt. Wait for a one-on-one. Say, "Je me permets de revenir sur votre idée." You are a loyal advisor, not a rebel. When in a heated disagreement, do not use emotions. Use the validation bridge. Step 1, validate their brain. Step 2, introduce the pivot. Step 3, introduce the new logic. This is the art of French business diplomacy. Finally, avoid the no of the decision maker. Always identify the real décideur early on. Find the logic of the hierarchy, and you will find the path to the yes. To summarize, do not fear the number, embrace the conflict. In our next video, we will cover job interviews and management. Get your copy of Master French Business on Amazon. Subscribe to Own the Room. Merci beaucoup, et à la prochaine.
Daughter's wedding is in a month. I don't want us to look like Beauty and the Beef.
Darling, relax. We have plenty of time. Just start doing Tai Chi walking and the guests will be asking you for weight loss advice.
Tai Chi walking?
Trust me.
My husband is 57, 264 pounds, and his young trainer tells him he needs to walk 10,000 steps a day to lose weight.
How old is his trainer?
He's 26.
Yeah. Exactly what I thought. A 26-year-old kid trying to fix a 57-year-old body weight, that's the real problem. Your husband doesn't need advice from someone who's never felt joint pain or a slow metabolism. The truth is, anyone can walk 20 times less and still get better results.
Really? So what should he do instead?
Tai Chi walking. 10 minutes a day gives the same results as hours of regular walking. Less stress, more energy, and it's made especially for men over 50.
Of course, I got it. How long before he sees results with Tai Chi walking?
In 3 days, he'll feel better. In 7 days, his energy will change. And in a month, you won't even recognize him.
How does he start?
Just click the link and start tomorrow.
Does anyone have anything they'd like to add?
Yes, I am. Mais c'est pas possible, à quoi je pensais. Yes, I am. Oui, je le suis. Je savais que pour évoluer dans mon métier, je devais plus pratiquer l'anglais. Même après 300 jours, j'avais encore du mal pendant les cours. Et j'ai trouvé Preply, une plateforme avec plus de 50 000 professeurs. Grâce aux cours particuliers, j'ai pu me concentrer directement sur mes difficultés. Comme pouvoir parler tech sans stresser. Puis ça a vraiment impacté plusieurs aspects de ma vie. J'ai obtenu une promotion. Okay, let's circle back once we've tested it on stage. Ça m'a permis de connecter plus facilement avec mes collègues. Ne passez pas à côté d'opportunités dans votre carrière. Téléchargez Preply.
Welcome back to the Master French Academy. Today, we are entering the arena of the first impression, the executive job interview. In many countries, an interview is a search for skills. In France, an interview is a search for an identity. In the United States, you are expected to sell yourself. You are the product. You talk about your wins, your numbers, and your superpowers. But if you bring that aggressive, self-promoting energy into a Parisian office, you will fail before you even sit down. To the French elite, overt bragging is a sign of insecurity and a lack of savoir-être. In the next 10 minutes, I'm going to teach you the most sophisticated weapon in the French professional arsenal, humilité séductrice, or seductive humility. We will explore why your diploma matters more than your talent, why your general culture is your secret weapon, and how to master the invisible code of the French posture. Let's begin with the paradox of humilité séductrice. In France, especially in high-level management, there is a deep cultural value placed on la discrétion. If you say, "I am the best salesperson in my region," you sound like a television commercial. It is unrefined. Instead, the French power move is to let your logic and your methodology speak for you. Do not say, "I increased revenue by 20%. Say, "Nous avons mis en place une structure analytique qui a permis d'optimiser les flux, ce qui a mécaniquement conduit à une croissance de 20%. Do you hear the difference? You are not the hero. The logic is the hero. By being humble about your person and arrogant about your logic, you seductively prove your worth without ever sounding vulgar. Now we must address the elephant in the room, the diploma. To understand the French mind, you must understand the Grandes Écoles system. Since the time of Napoleon, France has been a meritocracy of the diploma. For many French CEOs, your degree from 30 years ago still defines your intellectual rank today. If you did not attend a top-tier French school, do not try to hide it. Instead, pivot to your culture générale. In a French interview, the recruiter might suddenly ask you about a recent art exhibition or a philosophical concept. They are not being random. They are testing if you have l'esprit. They want to see if you can think outside of your Excel sheets. A candidate who can discuss the history of Paris or a classic French film is seen as more directable, more capable of high-level leadership than someone who only knows their KPIs. Let's talk about the first 5 minutes. In France, the interview begins in the hallway, not the office. Your tenue, your appearance, must be impeccable. Visible luxury brands. Excellence in France is silent. When you meet your interviewer, use a firm but brief handshake. Look them in the eyes, but do not stare. The gaze should be a sign of intellectual curiosity, not aggression. Use the title Monsieur or Madame. Never use a first name unless they insist 3 times. This distance is what creates your posture. In the French corporate world, if you are too friendly too fast, you lose your authority. Respect the hierarchy to eventually command it. During the interview, expect a challenge. A French recruiter will often play the avocat du diable, the devil's advocate. They might criticize your previous choices or question your methodology. Do not take it personally. This is the intellectual combat we discussed in Lesson 2. They are checking if you can handle the pressure of a Cartesian debate. If you get émotionnel, you have lost. If you respond with a structured thèse, c'est une analyse intéressante, mais permettez-moi d'apporter un éclairage complémentaire. This shows that you are a peer capable of defending your logic under fire. Finally, the closing of the interview. In the US, you might ask, when do I start? In France, that is too aggressive. The closing should be a ritual of opening the door. Ask about the vision of the company for the next 5 years. Ask about the valeurs de l'entreprise. This shows you are looking at the long term. As you leave, thank them for the qualité de l'échange. This word, a change, is crucial. It means you didn't just have a Q&A session. You had an intellectual meeting of the minds. To summarize Lesson 7, be humble about yourself, but surgical with your logic. Respect the ritual of the diploma while showing off your general culture. And remember, your posture is your true resume. In Lesson 8, we will explore the secret psyche of the French manager. I will show you why the French boss is a monarque éclairé and how to manage your team by understanding the unspoken rules of power. If you want the full list of questions de culture often asked in interviews and the exact templates for your follow-up emails, grab your copy of Master French Business on Amazon. The link is in the description. Join the elite. Subscribe to own the room. Welcome back to the Master French Academy. Today, we are exploring the invisible architecture of power. We are going inside the mind of the French boss. In the United Kingdom or the United States, management is often about being a coach, a cheerleader, or a facilitator. The boss wants to be liked. They want to be one of the team. In France, if you try to be your team's best friend, you will not be loved. You will be ignored. To lead in France, you must understand a concept that dates back centuries, the enlightened monarch. In the next 10 minutes, we are going to deconstruct the secret psyche of the French manager. We will explore why the hierarchy is vertical and sacred, why criticism is actually a form of respect, and why the most important decisions never happen during the official meeting. This is not just management. This is a study of power, history, and the Cartesian soul. Let's start with the concept of the enlightened monarch. To understand the French boss, you must understand the history of the French state. From Louis XIV to Napoleon, leadership in France has always been centralized, intellectual, and distant. The French manager does not want to be your coach. They want to be the person who provides the ultimate logical vision. They are expected to be the most cultivated person in the room. This is why they often seem distant. It is not coldness, it is status. In the French corporate world, distance equals, if you are a manager, do not try to be casual. Maintain your posture. Your team expects you to lead with a clear Cartesian direction, not with a group hug. This sacred hierarchy, or what we call the N+1. In many modern startups, people talk about flat hierarchies. In France, even in a tech company, the hierarchy exists. It is invisible, but it is ironclad. You must respect the rank. If you go over your boss's head to talk to their superior, you have committed a diplomatic crime that is very hard to fix. You must always validate the N+1 first. Even if you disagree with them, you must acknowledge their position in the logical structure of the company. In France, authority is not just about the person, it is about the function. You respect the seat as much as the individual sitting in it. Now, let's talk about a major cultural shock. The right to criticize. To an English speaker, if your boss criticizes your idea in a meeting, it feels like a personal attack. You might think they don't like you. In France, it is the exact opposite. If a French manager debates you, interrupts you, and picks apart your logic, it means they respect you. They believe you are intellectually strong enough to handle the combat. Silence is what you should fear. If a French boss says nothing about your work, it usually means they have given up on your potential. Embrace the debate. Defend your logic with thèse, antithèse, synthèse. When you fight back with logic, you are proving you belong to the elite. Another crucial pillar is the sacred boundary between private and professional life. In many countries, you build rapport by talking about your family, your hobbies, or your weekend. In France, this is often seen as an intrusion. The espace privé is a fortress. A French boss might work with you for 10 years and never know the names of your children. And that is considered professional. Do not ask personal questions too early. Focus on the culture générale. Talk about a book, a philosophy, or a global strategy. This is how you connect. You connect through the mind, not through the personal life. Respecting their privacy is the highest form of professional courtesy you can offer. Let's look at the decision-making process. You will notice that many French meetings are long, loud, and full of debate, but no decision is made at the end. You might feel frustrated. But here is the secret. In France, the meeting is for the debate. The decision happens in the corridors. It happens during a coffee break or in a private one-on-one after the official session. The meeting is a performance of logic. The actual exercise of power is quiet and centralized. If you want to influence a decision, do not wait for the meeting. Use the private doubt strategy we discussed in Lesson 6. Influence the logic before the stage is set. Finally, we have the droit à la déconnexion, the right to disconnect. While the French boss is a monarch, they respect the law of the cadre. In France, the separation of work and life is protected by law. Sending an urgent email on a Sunday evening is not seen as being a hard worker. It is seen as a lack of organization and a lack of respect for the social contract. To be a great manager in France, you must show that you can dominate the office during the week so that you can disappear during the weekend. Efficiency is measured by your mastery of time, not by the number of hours you sit at your desk. To summarize Lesson 8, lead like a monarch, but justify it with pure Cartesian logic. Respect the N+1 ritual. Treat criticism as a professional compliment. Keep the private life private. And remember that the real power is often exercised in the corridors, not the boardroom. In Lesson 9, we will dive into the most prestigious part of your journey, the art of the pitch and the public speech. I will show you how to captivate a French audience by using the grand style of the French orators. Every management rule and the exact phrases to use with your team are detailed in my book, Master French Business, available on Amazon. Click the link in the description to secure your executive toolkit. Subscribe to Own the Room. Merci beaucoup et à la prochaine. Welcome back to the Master French Academy. Today, we are reaching the summit of your executive journey. We are talking about the ultimate weapon of the French elite, eloquence. In many business cultures, a pitch is a race. You have 3 minutes to shout your value proposition and show your hockey stick growth chart. In France, if you rush, you look like a merchant. If you want to lead, you must look like an orator. In the next 10 minutes, I am going to show you how to master the grand style. We will explore why the French are obsessed with the beauty of the spoken word, how to structure your pitch using the ancient laws of rhetoric, and how to improve your French culture by mastering the art of the silence. This is the moment where you stop being a manager and you become a leader. Let's start with the cultural obsession. To understand why the French value a good speech, you have to look at their education. From a young age, French students are trained for the grand oral and the concours d'éloquence. For the French, the ability to speak well is not a soft skill. It is a proof of intelligence. When you stand up to pitch, the audience is not just judging your product, they are judging your mind. They want to hear a melody of logic. If your speech is flat and purely technical, you are invisible. To win, you must treat your pitch as a performance of the intellect. Now, let's deconstruct the grand style structure. Forget the classic startup pitch deck for a moment. In France, we use the triad of ethos, pathos, and logos. But we add a French twist, the elegance of the transition. A French pitch should flow like a river. Never say, next slide. Instead, use rhetorical bridges like Cela nous amène naturellement à considérer l'aspect structurel. This shows that your thoughts are connected by a superior logic. You are not just showing slides, you are weaving a tapestry of arguments. The most important part of your pitch is the logos, the logical proof. But in France, the logic must be beautiful. This is where you use the power of 3. The French mind loves things that come in 3s. Thèse, antithèse, synthèse. Past, present, future. Problème, methodology, result. When you group your ideas in triads, you create a sense of completion that a Cartesian mind cannot resist. It feels inevitable. Let's talk about the art of the pause. This is how you improve your French culture instantly. In many English-speaking countries, silence is awkward. We try to fill it with or like. In France, silence is a power move. It is the space where your logic settles into the minds of your audience. When you say an important point, stop. Look at your audience. Let the silence breathe. This shows that you are not afraid of the room. The gaze is your second non-verbal weapon. In France, eye contact is a sign of intellectual confrontation and respect. Do not look at your notes. Do not look at the screen. Look at the decision maker. Look at the N+1. In the French boardroom, power is transmitted through the eyes. If you look away, you look like you are hiding a logical flaw. If you maintain the gaze while delivering a difficult truth, you are proving your authority. Now, we come to the philosophical loop. Every great French speech ends by connecting the specific project to a universal value. Do not just end with a call to action like, invest in us. End with a vision. Connect your technology to the future of society, or your service to the concept of French excellence. Use the phrase, au-delà des chiffres. C'est une vision de l'avenir que nous construisons ensemble. To summarize Lesson 9, master the grand style by prioritizing flow over speed. Use the triad structure to make your logic beautiful. Embrace the power of the silence and the authority of the gaze. And always close your pitch by looping back to a higher philosophical value. You are not just pitching a business, you are pitching a worldview. Now, let's move to the final chapter. Welcome to the final chapter of our journey. We have traveled from the first handshake to the boardroom, through the corridors of power and the rituals of the business lunch. You have mastered the logic, the posture, and the eloquence. Now, we face the ultimate stage, closing the deal and, more importantly, building a legacy of loyalty. In many international markets, the signature on a contract is the finish line. In France, if you think this way, you will only ever be a vendor, never a partner. For the French elite, a signature is not the end of a transaction. It is the beginning of a marriage. It is what we call l'engagement. Let's start with the psychology of the close. In the United States, closing is often aggressive. It is the always be closing mindset. In France, if you push too hard at the end, you create a malaise. Why? Because for a Cartesian mind, a signature is a heavy responsibility. The French are famous for being slow to decide. This is not because they are indecisive. It is because they are evaluating the solidité of the relationship. They aren't just buying a product. They are choosing a person they can trust when things get compliqué. To close effectively, you must stop being a salesman and start being a guarantor. Use the phrase, "Je m'engage personnellement à la réussite de ce partenariat." By putting your personal honor on the line, you provide the emotional security that their logic requires to say yes. Now let's talk about the ritual of the signature. In the digital age, we often use DocuSign and forget the human element. But for a high-level deal in Paris or Geneva, the physical act of signing still carries immense weight. If possible, make the signature a moment of prestige. It doesn't need to be a grand ceremony, but it should be marked with a formal meeting or a dedicated lunch. When the pen touches the paper, the atmosphere should be one of gravitas. This is the moment you transition from vous as a stranger to nous as an alliance. Once the contract is signed, observe the post-closing posture. In some cultures, people celebrate loudly. In France, maintain your élégance. A simple, firm handshake and the phrase "Je suis ravi que nous versions ce nouveau chapitre ensemble" is enough. Do not lower your guard. The posture must remain intact. If you become too casual the moment the money is on the table, you prove that your previous sophistication was just a mask. Consistency is the key to French respect. This brings us to the most important concept of this entire series, la fidélité or loyalty. In the Anglo-Saxon world, business is often transactional. If someone else offers a cheaper price, the client leaves. In France, the réseau, the network, is built on historical loyalty. If you have proven your value and your savoir-vivre, a French partner will stay with you even during difficult times. To build this loyalty, you must move from being a provider to being a conseiller, a trusted advisor. Share cultural insights, send them an interesting book, or invite them to an exclusive event that has nothing to do with your contract. Show them that you value their mind and their status, not just their budget. Let's look at the long-term management of the deal. In France, your N+1 on the client side expects a relationship of proximity and distance. You must stay informed about their challenges without being intrusive. Periodic points de situation should be structured with the same Cartesian logic we used in Lesson 4. Show them that you are still hunting for logical flaws to protect their interests. In the French psyche, a partner who criticizes a project to make it better is more valuable than a partner who always says yes. Your loyalty is proven through your intellectual honesty. Finally, we look at the legacy. When you master the 10 lessons of this academy, you are doing more than just closing deals. You are integrating into a global elite. You are learning a way of being that commands respect in Paris, Brussels, Geneva, and beyond. You have bridged the Cartesian gap. You have moved from learning French to thinking French. And that, my friends, is the highest ROI you can achieve for your career. To summarize our final lesson, close with the honor of a guarantor, mark the signature with gravitas, and build your future on the bedrock of French loyalty. You are now ready to own the room. This concludes our 10-part series at the Master French Business Academy. It has been an honor to be your guide through the secret codes of the French corporate world. If you want to keep these weapons with you at all times, the full executive master plan is available in my book, Master French Business, on Amazon. It is the definitive guide for the modern leader. Click the link in the description to secure your copy and join our community of international elites. Thank you for your time, your logic, and your ambition. Subscribe to stay connected. Félicitations, merci beaucoup, et à très bientôt. Bonjour. Most people learn French because they want to visit the Eiffel Tower or order a croissant. They want a charming experience. But you are here because you want power. You want to lead, to negotiate, and to own the room. Yet, there is a problem that no app will ever tell you. You have spent months on Duolingo. You have studied your grammar books, and you might even speak quite well. But when you walk into a high-end restaurant in Paris or a boardroom in Geneva, something happens. The waiter or the CEO looks at you with a subtle, almost invisible hint of condescension. They treat you like a tourist, even if you are wearing a $3,000 suit. Why? In the next 10 minutes, I am going to tell you exactly why your French sounds poor to the ears of the French elite. It has nothing to do with your accent and everything to do with your social engineering. I am going to reveal the linguistic gap that separates the workers from the rulers in France. And most importantly, I will give you the 3 power words that will instantly rebrand you as a member of the elite. This is not a language lesson. This is a masterclass in social prestige. If you have been feeling invisible in the French world, your transformation starts now. To understand why your French feels low value, you have to understand the French history of class. In the United Kingdom or the United States, people often use slang or casual language to seem relatable. In France, the elite does the exact opposite. They use language as a shield to maintain distance. Most schools and apps teach you le français standard. This is the language of the street, the language of the television news, and the language of the average person. When you say ça va or je suis d'accord, you are using what we call the low register. To a French executive, this sounds flat. It sounds like you haven't been initiated into the higher circles of power. The French 1% use what is called le français soutenu. It is a language of nuance, of historical references, and of complex logical structures. The elite do not speak to simply communicate information. They speak to signal their rank. If your vocabulary is basic, your perceived value is basic. We are going to fix that today by moving your language from the standard to the executive. We are going to stop you from being a student and start making you a peer. Let's look at the 3 words that will change everything for your social frequency. The first word is en l'occurrence. Most people say dans ce cas or actuellement. These are weak and common. En l'occurrence signals that you are analyzing a specific technical point with surgical precision. It is the favorite phrase of French lawyers, high-level diplomats, and top-tier managers. It says, I am not just talking. I am observing a precise reality with a Cartesian mind. The second phrase is je me permets de. As we discussed in our earlier lessons, French culture is a fortress of privacy and hierarchy. When you say I am calling you or I am suggesting, you are being too direct, which is often perceived as a lack of education. The elite use the diplomatic shield by saying, je me permets de vous suggérer. You are showing that you understand the boundaries of power. You are showing that you have the savoir-vivre to acknowledge the social contract while you are actually taking total control of the conversation. The third word is pertinent. Stop saying something is good or interesting. C'est bien is for children. C'est une analyse pertinente is for leaders. It validates the intellect of your partner while positioning you as the ultimate judge of that intellect. Using these 3 words doesn't just change your sentences, it changes how people perceive the weight of your brain. You are now speaking the language of the old money salons of Paris, but vocabulary is only half the battle. One of the biggest mistakes that makes you sound poor is talking too much and talking too fast. In many cultures, we are taught to fill the silence to seem friendly and approachable. In the French elite, friendliness is suspicious. Authority is found in the silence. The French 1% speak slowly, with intentional pauses. They do not rush their sentences because rushing is for people who are afraid of being interrupted. A leader knows the room will wait for them. This is the monarch mindset. When you combine your new elite vocabulary with a slower, more deliberate rhythm, you create an aura of prestige. You are no longer trying to speak French. You are occupying the French language. This is how you make a shadow of your competitors. While they are teaching people how to order a beer or find the train station, you are mastering the art of the social gaze and the intellectual pause. To conclude this first lesson of our new series, we have deconstructed the invisible wall that was holding you back. You now know that your struggle was never truly about grammar, but about social codes and linguistic signals. This is just the beginning. In our next lesson, we will dive into the old money accent and how to sound like a Parisian executive even if you weren't born in the 16th arrondissement. If you want to bypass years of social exclusion and get the full linguistic power toolkit today, my book, Master French Business, is your field manual. It contains the scripts that the apps are too afraid to teach you because they are reserved for the inner circle. Click the link in the description to secure your copy on Amazon and start your transformation. Stop being a visitor in the French world. Start being a leader. Subscribe to this channel to own the room. Merci beaucoup et à la prochaine. Bonjour, welcome back. In our first lesson, we talked about the power words that separate the elite from the tourists. But words are only the hardware. Today, we are going to install the software, the accent. I am not talking about a generic French accent you hear in movies. I am talking about the old money French accent. In France, the way you move your mouth and the rhythm of your sentences tell a story. They tell a story about your education, your family, and your bank account before you even finish your first sentence. Most students try to sound perfect, but in the higher circles of Paris, perfection is seen as a lack of confidence. To sound like an executive, you need to master the art of the effortless elite. In the next 10 minutes, I am going to deconstruct the phonetic codes of the French 1%. I will show you why overpronouncing is a social mistake, how to master the secret of the silent E, and why the rhythm of a Parisian leader is different from anything you have learned on an app. By the end of this video, you will have the keys to a voice that commands respect in any luxury hotel or boardroom in Europe. This is the transformation from speaking French to embodying French prestige. Let's start with the first rule of the elite accent, the law of economy. When you listen to a beginner, they try to pronounce every single letter. They are mechanical. In the 16th arrondissement of Paris, the elite use a style that is relaxed but surgical. We call this nonchalance. To sound high value, you must learn to eat certain letters while maintaining a clear logical structure. The most important letter to master is the E muette, the silent E. In standard French, you might say je ne sais pas. In the executive register, you say je ne sais pas. You drop the E. It sounds faster, more natural, and more confident. It signals that you are so comfortable with the language that you don't need to follow the rules of a primary school teacher. You are creating a flow that is exclusive to those who actually live and work in the circles of power. Now, let's talk about the rhythm of authority. Most languages, including English, are stress-timed. We emphasize certain syllables. French is syllable-timed. Every syllable has almost the same weight. But the French elite add a specific twist, the deceleration. A tourist speaks fast because they are nervous. A leader speaks with a deliberate, slow rhythm. They use the end of the sentence to let their point land. Instead of rising in pitch at the end of a statement, which makes you sound like you are asking for permission, stay flat or go slightly lower. This is what we call the gravitas of the voice. When you combine this flat, steady rhythm with the economy of your vowels, you create a sound that is incredibly difficult to ignore. You sound like someone who is used to being listened to. The third pillar of the old money accent is the placement of the voice. Many learners speak from the throat or the nose. The French executive speaks from the mask, the front of the face. This creates a sound that is crisp, clear, and projected. It is the sound of the grand oral we discussed in Lesson 7. It requires a specific posture. Sit up straight, as your shoulders down. When your body is aligned, your voice gains a natural resonance that signals leadership. You aren't just making sounds, you are projecting an identity. One of the biggest mistakes that will ruin your prestige instantly is trying to use too much slang to sound cool. Always wrapped in perfect formal grammar. This is the in and out strategy. You show that you know the street, but you belong to the palace. If you use too much casual French, you look like you are trying too hard to fit in. The truly powerful do not try to fit in. they set the standard. Your goal is to have an accent that is so clean and so rhythmic that people wonder which grande école you attended. To summarize this masterclass on the old money accent, master the law of economy by dropping the unnecessary E, adopt the steady rhythm of the monarch, and project your voice from the front of the face. This is how you close the gap between being a visitor and being an initiate. In our next lesson, we will explore the secret phrases French politicians use to win every debate. If you want the exact phonetic transcriptions of the elite phrases we discussed today and the social engineering exercises to train your voice, get your copy of Master French Business on Amazon. It is the only manual that teaches you the sound of success. Click the link in the description to secure your copy and join the elite. Subscribe to this channel to stay ahead of the competition. Merci beaucoup et à la prochaine. Bonjour. Welcome back to the Master French Academy. Today, we are entering the most dangerous and fascinating part of the French psyche, the art of the debate. If you have ever watched a French political talk show or sat in a high-level meeting in Paris, you might have been shocked. People interrupt each other. They use sharp, precise language. To an outsider, it looks like an argument. To a French leader, it is a sport. It is what we call intellectual combat. In this extended masterclass, we are going deep into the psychology of this sport. We are not just learning phrases, we are learning battle strategies. I will show you how to stop being a victim of this system and start being the master of it. To understand the French debate, you must understand the history of the concours d'éloquence. In the elite schools of France, students are not taught to be nice or agreeable. They are taught to be Cartesian. This means every idea must be dissected, challenged, and rebuilt. In many cultures, a disagreement is seen as a personal attack. In France, a disagreement is a form of respect. If I challenge your logic, it means I believe you are worthy of the combat. Most foreigners fail because they try to avoid the conflict. But in the French boardroom, avoiding conflict looks like weakness. To win, you must embrace the combat. You must learn that in France, the person with the best logic is the person who leads. Let's dive into our first lethal phrase, de votre approche. Je m'étonne, I am surprised or I'm astonished, is a power move. It positions you as the superior intellect. A junior manager would say, I don't think that's right or I disagree. That is defensive. Je m'étonne is offensive. You are observing from a higher ground that their logic is curious. Imagine you are in a budget meeting. Your opponent proposes a cut that ruins your project. Instead of fighting the numbers, you say, Je m'étonne de votre approche à court terme. You have just reframed their financial prudence as short-sightedness. You force them to justify their entire philosophy, not just the math. You have taken control without raising your voice. The second phrase is even more surgical. It destroys the opponent's credibility by attacking their scope. C'est une vision parcellaire de la réalité. This is the ultimate Cartesian trap. You are saying they only see a small piece of the puzzle. In the French mind, being parcellaire or incomplete is a massive logical failure. It implies they are a specialist, a technician, while you are the generalist, the strategist. Use this when a consultant gives you a plan that ignores the company culture. You lean back and say, C'est intéressant, mais c'est une vision parcellaire. You instantly invalidate their hours of work. Third, we have the most powerful word in the French political dictionary, nuance. You will hear politicians say, Il convient de nuancer votre propos. To nuance is to add shadow and light. In France, if you are too black and white, you look uneducated. The elite love the gray area. By asking to nuance someone's point, you are effectively taking their argument and reshaping it to fit your needs. You are acting like a sculptor. You show intellectual depth. If someone says, this product failed, you reply, Il convient de nuancer. The product struggled, but the brand equity increased. You have just saved the day with nuance. Our fourth weapon is a single word used at a specific time, précisément. In a French debate, the elite say précisément when they have just found a flaw in your argument. It is the verbal equivalent of a trapdoor opening. It is a moment of intellectual checkmate. When your opponent makes a point they think is strong, you say, précisément. You are saying, I expected you to say that, and it actually proves my point, not yours. They say, this costs too much. You say, précisément, that is why it signals luxury. You turn their weapon against them. It requires a specific tone, calm, almost bored authority. Finally, the phrase that closes the trap. Qu'en est-il de la cohérence globale? This is the final question. It is the judge's hammer. It asks for the global coherence of the project. In France, logic is king. If the logic is flawed, the project dies. By asking this, you are positioning yourself as the guardian of the Cartesian soul of the company. You are looking at the philosophy of the deal, not just the price. When everyone is arguing about details, you ask this. The room stops. You have reminded them that details matter less than the vision. You become the enlightened monarch. But phrases are not enough. You must master the body language of the debate. Look at my posture. I am not leaning forward. Leaning forward shows hunger, and hunger shows weakness. The French elite lean back. They use what I call sarcastic elegance, a slight smile, a calm gaze. It says, I am amused by your effort, but I am not threatened by it. And the use of the strategic pause. When you speak, you do not rush. You let the silence put pressure on the other side. This is the posture of power. To summarize, lesson 3, do not fear the conflict, lead it. Use je m'étonne to take the high ground. Use vision parcellaire to dismantle their scope. Use nuances to prove your depth. Use précisément to trigger the trap. When you master these 5 weapons, you will no longer be learning how to talk to the French. You will be teaching them how to follow you. In our next lesson, lesson 4, we will explore the silent insult. We will look at how the French elite handle rude colleagues and difficult social situations without ever losing their elegance. Every one of these phrases and the psychological exercises to master your debate posture are available in my book, Master French Business. Click the link in the description to secure your copy.
Bonjour. For 6 months, I did what millions of people do. I opened an app every morning, I chased a green owl, and I earned my daily streak. I learned how to say the cat eats an apple and the dress is red. I felt productive. I felt like I was winning. But then, I landed in Paris for a high-stakes board meeting. And in exactly 10 seconds, I realized the truth. My 6 months on Duolingo had completely failed me. In the next 10 minutes, I am going to tell you why gamified apps are a trap for your professional career. I will show you the Cartesian gap that apps cannot bridge. And most importantly, I will reveal what actually works if you want to enter a room in Geneva or Paris and feel right at home. This is not about learning a language. It is about mastering an attitude. Apps like Duolingo are designed to be addictive, not effective for leaders. They treat French like a series of puzzles. But French is not a puzzle. It is a social rank. When you learn the cat is on the table, you are learning words. But you are not learning the rhythm or the power moves of the corporate elite. French is an elite language built on centuries of court etiquette and intellectual combat. In the French boardroom, people don't care if you know the word for apple. They care if your academy teaches you how to be a peer. French culture is on pure, cold logic. Apps teach you what to say, but they never teach you why. If you don't understand that a business lunch is a 2-hour psychological observation, you are invisible. So, what changed the game for me? I stopped learning like a student and started strategizing like an executive. Subscribe to this channel. Merci beaucoup, et à la prochaine.
What if you had just about any health and wellness product you need right in your pocket? With the iHerb app, you kind of do. Sweet. We carry over 50,000 of your favorite health and wellness products. Products for a healthy pregnancy, baby, joints, beauty, workout. It's just one of the many ways we make wellness better. iHerb.
Geo shots, 360-degree views, zoom details in seconds, deliver zero-cost themes, adapt to any audience, no photo shoots, create viral product videos before coffee breaks, simple API integration, 1 million free tokens. Start scaling your e-commerce today with One, your AI growth partner.
Welcome back to the Master French Business Academy. Today, we are exploring one of the most guarded secrets of the French 1%. We are discussing a topic that separates the world-class leader from the average manager. In the Parisian boardroom, or within the elite executive circles of Geneva and Luxembourg, is not just a mistake, it is a confession of weakness. In these spheres, aggression is viewed as the language of those who have run out of arguments. The elite, however, use a much more sophisticated weapon. We call it the silent insult. Over the next 12 minutes, I will teach you the engineering behind this behavior. I will show you how to transform a verbal attack into a pedestal for your own prestige. Before we dive into the techniques, we must understand the philosophy. In the French sociology of power, there is a concept of being Olympian, like the gods on Mount Olympus. A true leader is unaffected by the storms of the mortals below. When someone is rude to you, they are trying to drag you down to their level of chaos. The silent insult is not about being mean. It is about maintaining a level of linguistic and psychological prestige that makes the other person's rudeness look like a failure of education. The more formal the language becomes, this is a concept I call linguistic distancing. In most international business cultures, people try to warm up a cold situation by becoming more casual. In the French elite, we do the exact opposite. We freeze the situation. If a colleague becomes overly familiar, disrespectful, or aggressive, your first weapon is an absolute surgical return to the vouvoiement. Even if you have been on a first-name basis for months, the moment a boundary is crossed, you retreat into the fortress of vous. Do not defend yourself. Use complex, high-register sentence structures that act as a glass wall between you and the aggressor. For instance, je vous saurais gré de bien vouloir maintenir ce débat dans les limites de la courtoisie professionnelle. By being excessively polite, you are not being nice. You are highlighting their lack of social codes. You are signaling that they have just been evicted from your inner circle of trust. You are treating them like a stranger because, through their behavior, they have proven they do not belong in the room of peers. This is the first step of the silent insult. Exclusion, the Cartesian shield. The French elite value reason above all else. This is the legacy of René Descartes. In a boardroom in Paris or Lyon, an emotional man is perceived as an uneducated man. When you are attacked personally, your goal is to discredit the form of the attack so you never have to address the content. We use what I call the Cartesian shield. Instead of responding to the insult, you analyze the insult as if you were a scientist observing a flawed experiment. You look at the person and deliver this key phrase with a calm, flat tone. Je crains que votre ton ne l'emporte sur la clarté de votre raisonnement. This phrase is devastating. You are not calling them rude, which would be an emotional reaction. You are calling them illogical. You are suggesting that their noise is clouding their intellect. In a culture that worships logic, accusing someone of lacking clarté is the ultimate professional dismissal. Technique 3. The power of strategic silence and so it. Power is the ability to not react. In high-stakes social engineering, silence is not empty. It is a weight. If someone tries to destabilize you with a jab or a sarcastic comment, do not respond immediately. Allow 3 full seconds of silence. During these 3 seconds, do not look angry. Look at them with a slight, detached curiosity, the way a master jeweler might look at a fake diamond. Incline your head slightly. This silence forces the aggressor to sit in the vacuum they just created. They will often try to fill the silence with more words, making themselves look even more desperate. Then, follow up with a single word, soit. This word, which translates to so be it, is the peak of seductive humility. It is a linguistic shrug. It signifies that you have heard their noise, you have processed it, and you have found it to be of zero consequence to the global strategy. Follow it immediately with revenons-en à l'essentiel, voulez-vous? By declaring their intervention a non-event, you reclaim total control of the room. You are the conductor, and they were merely a discordant note that you have just resolved and moved past. Technique 4. The label of banality. The greatest fear of a high-value executive is not to be hated, but to be perceived as common. In the world of prestige, being predictable is the ultimate failure. When a peer tries to overshadow you with a loud, aggressive opinion, you do not fight their point. You label it. You use the adjective convenu, which means conventional or predictable. If someone contradicts you harshly, look at them with a thin smile and reply, c'est une observation très classique. Néanmoins, l'enjeu actuel demande une vision plus nuancée. You just told your interlocutor they are banal. You told them their thinking is junior. For an executive seeking distinction, being called classic or predictable is a deep, elegant wound to the ego. You have just relegated them to the rank of a replaceable executor, while you maintain the nuance of the leader. Conclusion: the ROI of emotional mastery. Mastering the silent insult is not about being cruel. It is about the sociology of power. It is about protecting the prestige of your office and your brand. A leader who cannot be provoked is a leader who is respected, feared, and promoted. These codes, the vow barrier, the Cartesian shield, the power of soit, are what allow you to navigate the highest spheres. To dive deeper into these mechanisms and master the exact linguistic engineering of the French 1%, I invite you to consult my complete guide available on Amazon. There, I break down the specific grammatical structures and vocabulary lists that will allow you to assert your dominance with absolute panache. Congratulations on your progress. You are no longer just learning a language. You are learning how to wield it as a weapon of prestige. Subscribe to ensure you do not miss Lesson 5, where we will explore the art of the state, how to conduct a high-stakes negotiation without ever showing your hand. I will see you soon in the elite. Welcome to the 5th installment of our Executive Masterclass. Today, we enter the inner sanctum of the French elite, the high-stakes negotiation. In the world of the 1%, a negotiation is not a battle to be won with loud demands. It is a diplomatic dance to be conducted with the poise of a statesman. The true masters of the French social engineering know that the greatest strength lies in what remains unsaid. Over the next 12 minutes, I will teach you how to conduct a high-risk negotiation without ever showing your hand, using the exact psychological codes of the French diplomatic tradition, the philosophy of the masque de marbre. Before you enter the room, you must adopt the masque de marbre, the marble mask. In international business, your face must be an unreadable landscape of calm. A statesman does not show excitement at a good offer, nor does he show anger at a poor one. Both are signals of emotional vulnerability. You are not there to deal. You are there to preside over a transition of assets. Your authority comes from your perceived indifference to the outcome. Remember, the one who is most prepared to walk away always owns the room. Technique 1. The strategic vacuum, the 5-second rule. In many cultures, silence is viewed as an awkward gap that must be filled. In the French sociology of power, silence is a tool of interrogation. When your interlocutor makes a proposal, do not respond immediately. Even if the offer is perfect, you must apply the strategic vacuum. Wait at least 5 seconds while maintaining steady, relaxed eye contact. This silence creates a psychological pressure that forces the other party to justify their position. They will often begin to talk to fill the void, revealing their anxieties. By doing nothing, you have gathered intelligence. You have forced them to move first. In the eyes of the elite, the person who breaks the silence is the person who has lost their nerve. Technique 2. The ambiguity of peut-être. The French language is a masterpiece of nuance and shadow. While amateur negotiators want yes or no answers, the statesman operates in the realm of the peut-être. When pushed for a commitment, use the phrase « C'est une éventualité que nous pourrions envisager, sous réserve d'un équilibre global ». Notice the lack of a definitive yes. You are signaling interest without granting leverage. You are keeping all your cards close to your chest while keeping the other party engaged. This is the essence of seductive humility, appearing cooperative while remaining entirely elusive. You are not saying no, you are saying that your yes must be earned through further concessions. Technique 3. The Grand Siècle strategy. The Sun King's approach. Named after the era of Louis XIV, this technique involves shifting the negotiation from the price to the prestige. The elite do not haggle over pennies. They discuss the long-term architectural value of the partnership. If the negotiation gets stuck on a financial point, elevate the conversation. Use this phrase. Ne nous égarons pas dans les détails comptables, concentrons-nous sur la pérennité et le prestige de cet accord. By doing this, you imply that the person arguing over a 2% discount is being small-minded. You force them to choose between a minor financial gain and being perceived as a person of low status. Most high-level executives will choose the status every time. You have won the negotiation by changing the rules of the game. Technique 4. The final closing and the art of the state. A statesman never looks relieved when the deal is closed. The final agreement should be treated as a logical and inevitable conclusion. As you conclude, do not offer a wide smile or a frantic handshake. Instead, offer a slight, dignified nod and a short, powerful phrase. Nous avons abouti à une solution cohérente. C'est satisfaisant. Satisfying is the peak of French executive understatement. It suggests that while the deal is good, it was the minimum you expected. It leaves the other party wondering if they could have gotten a better deal, ensuring they remain respectful. Conclusion. The ROI of the hidden hand. Mastering the art of the hidden hand is what defines a leader in the global theater. It is about emotional discipline, linguistic precision, and a deep understanding of human psychology. These are the skills that lead to the highest ROI in your career, moving you from a manager of tasks to a master of outcomes. To master the exact grammatical nuances and the executive semantic cloud required for these high-stakes dialogues, I invite you to consult the full manual of the Academy on Amazon. Congratulations on completing Lesson 5. You are now halfway through your transformation. Subscribe to ensure you do not miss Lesson 6, where we will decode the high-value voice. I will see you soon in the elite. Welcome to the 6th installment of our Executive Masterclass. Until now, we have mastered the art of silence, the shield of logic, and the diplomacy of negotiation. Today, we give a body to your authority. In the high-pressure environments of the French 1%, your voice is not just a tool for communication, it is an architectural element. It defines the space you occupy. Long before you finish your sentence, your listener has already decided whether you are a leader to be followed or a subordinate to be managed. The elite do not speak to be heard, they speak to be felt. Over the next 12 minutes, I will teach you the specific vocal engineering required to command respect in any boardroom, from Paris to Singapore. In the French classical tradition, The voice is considered a reflection of the soul's discipline. A frantic, high-pitched, or rushed voice signals an internal lack of control. To command the room, you must adopt the voice of the state. This is a voice that sounds as if it has nothing to prove and nowhere to rush. It is grounded in the seductive humility we have practiced. It does not shout for attention because it assumes attention is already its due. Your voice must become a pillar of stability in a world of noise. Technique 1. The low-frequency resonance. Power has a frequency, and it is low. In the sociology of prestige, a deeper register is instinctively associated with physical calm and emotional maturity. Most people, when nervous, breathe from the chest, which tightens the vocal cords. To command the room, you must breathe from the diaphragm. This allows the air to resonate in your chest. When you speak, imagine the sound originating not from your throat, but from the center of your gravity. You are not pushing the words out. You are letting them resonate. This depth signals to the room that you are anchored, stable, and immovable. In the eyes of the French elite, a man who controls his breath is a man who can control a company. Technique 2. The pacing of authority, the death of the rush. Subordinates talk fast because they are afraid of being interrupted. The elite speak slowly because they know the world will wait for them. Rushing your words is a confession that you do not believe your thoughts are valuable enough to occupy the time you are taking. To fix this, you must master the staccato of authority. Each word should be treated as a distinct unit of value. Practice slowing down your delivery by 20%. Allow the vowels to breathe. This pacing creates a sense of architectural weight. It gives your interlocutors the time to process the importance of what you are saying. By refusing to rush, you are non-verbally stating, "My time is the most valuable asset in this room." Technique 3. The trap of the upward inflection. One of the most common status killers in international business is the upward inflection, ending a statement as if it were a question. The high-value voice uses the descending cadence. Every sentence you utter should end on a slightly lower note than it began. This creates an aura of finality and certainty. When you say, "The strategy is sound," the word "sound" should be the lowest note in the sentence. This tells the room that the discussion on this point is over. You are not seeking consensus, you are declaring a reality. Technique 4. The strategic césure, the classical pause. Borrowing from the great French playwrights like Racine, we use the césure, a deliberate break in the middle of a thought. Most people use filler words like or like to fill the silence while they think. This is fatal to your prestige. The elite use silence as a filler. If you need a moment to gather your thoughts, simply stop. Look at your audience with a calm, steady gaze. That silence is not a gap, it is a display of power. It creates tension and forces the room to focus on your next word. When you finally speak after a 3-second pause, your words carry 10 times the weight. You are not thinking, you are composing. Conclusion: the ROI of vocal distinction. Your voice is the final layer of your professional armor. When you combine the high-value voice with the social engineering codes we have studied, you become an irresistible force. To master the specific vocal exercises and the executive semantic cloud used to project power in the French corporate hierarchy, I invite you to consult the full manual of the Academy on Amazon. It provides the phonetic and psychological blueprints for those ready to lead. Congratulations on completing Lesson 6. You have found your voice. Subscribe to ensure you do not miss Lesson 7, where we will decode the dress code of the 1%. How to use aesthetic prestige as a silent negotiation tool. I will see you soon in the elite.
Welcome to this special geopolitical edition of the Master French Business Academy. Today we are analyzing a clash of titans. You see the headlines, you see the tweets, you see the tension between Washington and Paris. The media tells you this is about tariffs or NATO or politics. They are wrong. The conflict between Donald Trump and the French elite is not political. It is visceral. It is psychological. It is a collision between two diametrically opposed definitions of power. To understand this is to understand the most fundamental divide in global business. the American transactional model versus the French institutional model. Today, we are going to deconstruct why the French system infuriates the Trumpian mindset and how you can navigate the space between these two worlds. This is the sociology of the deal versus the sociology of the state. The first source of friction is time. It is the battle between the clock and the calendar. Donald Trump is a man of the now. He is a developer. In real estate, time is money. A deal that takes too long is a bad deal. He operates on the clock. France operates on the calendar. When Trump deals with the French administration, he hits a wall of historical time. They care about la pérennité, longevity. In the French mind, a decision made quickly is a decision made poorly. Trump sees delay as incompetence. The French see delay as seriousness. For you, the lesson is clear. If you approach a French partner with Trumpian speed, you will scare them. You must slow down your internal clock. Now let us analyze the language. It is the clash between hyperbole and litotes. Donald Trump speaks in hyperbole. Everything is huge, tremendous. The French elite speaks in litote. You say less to mean more. If a French CEO thinks a project is excellent, he will say, "Si n'est pas mal." This creates a massive translation error. Trump thinks the French are unimpressed. The French think Trump is a carnival barker. You must learn to translate. This leads to aesthetics. New money gold versus old money stone. Look at Trump. Gold towers. It screams, "I made it." It is apologetic wealth. Now look at the French aesthetic. It is stone. It is gray. It is matte. In France, money should be invisible. You do not show your wealth. You show your culture. This brings us to the core conflict, the transaction versus the relationship. For Trump, every interaction is a transaction. I give you X, you give me Y. For the French, business is a relationship. The déjeuner d'affaires is a stress test. They want to know who you are, not just what you have. We saw this in the famous handshake war. They held on for seconds too long. Macron refused to release his grip. He was signaling, "We do not yield." Finally, they have two different definitions of freedom. For the American, it is freedom from the state. For the French, it is freedom to be protected by the state. This is why negotiation stalls. Trump is playing Monopoly. France is playing chess. Why does this matter to you? Because you will meet both. The true master of the universe is the one who can wear the gold tie in New York and the gray suit in Paris, the one who can bridge these worlds. To master this, acquire the full manual of the Academy. Trump may hate France, and France may mock Trump. But you will master both. Subscribe now.
Welcome to the 8th installment of the Master French Business Academy. We have covered your silence, your voice, your negotiation tactics, and your dress code. Now, we enter the most dangerous arena of all, the dining table. In the French elite, the business dinner is not a meal. It is an examination. It is a theater of judgment where your impulse control, your cultural literacy, and your social grace are tested under the influence of wine and fatigue. Deals are often proposed in the boardroom, but they are secretly decided during the main course. If you cannot handle a fork with precision, how can you be trusted to handle a merger? Over the next 12 minutes, I will guide you through the protocol of the business dinner. I will teach you how to survive this gastronomic minefield and how to use the table as a stage for your absolute distinction. The philosophy, the gastronomic theater. To understand the French business dinner, you must understand that food is secondary. The primary purpose of the gathering is the observation of character. In the old money circles of Paris and Lyon, we believe that a man reveals his true nature when he eats. Does he rush? Does he treat the waiter with arrogance? Does he drink too much? Does he talk with his mouth full? These are not minor infractions. They are character flaws. You must approach the dinner with the mindset of a diplomat entering a foreign court. You are there to perform effortless elegance. The goal is to make your guests feel honored, relaxed, and completely charmed, while you remain vigilant, sober, and in control. This is the height of seductive humility, serving the comfort of others to secure your own power. Technique 1, the geography of power. The negotiation begins before the menu is even opened. It begins with the seating chart. In the sociology of power, where you sit dictates your status. If you are the guest, never rush to a chair. Stand by the table and wait for the host to gesture. This shows respect for their territory. If you are the host, you must direct the choreography. The seat of power is always facing the entry of the room or the best view. This is the position of the alpha. you offer this seat to your most important guest. By giving away the best view, you are displaying confidence. You do not need the view. You are the view. Be mindful of the zone of intimacy. In French business culture, we do not sit directly across from an adversary if we want to seduce them. We sit at a right angle or next to them. This reduces confrontation and encourages collaboration. Sitting face to face is for conflict. Sitting côte à côte is for alliance. Technique 2, the strategy of the menu. Ordering food in a high-stakes environment is a strategic act. You are not choosing what you want to eat. You are choosing what allows you to negotiate. There is a rule I teach my private clients: the prohibition of complexity. Never order anything that requires surgical attention. No spaghetti, no shellfish that must be peeled, no bone-in meats. Why? Because if you are fighting with a lobster claw, you cannot maintain eye contact. You look messy, primal, and distracted. Order simple, refined dishes that can be eaten with a fork and knife without looking down. A fillet of sole, a steak, a simple risotto. This allows you to focus 100% of your attention on the client. Regarding alcohol, the rule is the mirror. Never drink more than your client, but do not make them drink alone. If they order wine, you order wine. If you refuse, you make